Lane, we're going to talk to him in just a little bit, but Chance Campbell, how's he fit in? What's he brought to the linebackers room? What have you seen from him so far?
Well, he has experience playing the position, playing in games. Um, has done a really good job picking up the system. There's some carryover there for him from being with DJ earlier. So he's done a really good job, and I feel like he's fitting well with the players too.
Lane, has there been any further separation in the number 2 quarterback battle in your eyes?
No, continue to do good things, both of them, and feel really good about their development.
Lane, can you talk about what you saw in practice today and if anyone stood out or position group?
I don't know that. I can say, lately in practice, the defense has, since the weekend, has done a good job the last 2 practices. So that's good. Had more turnovers, getting more balls out, and limiting explosive plays. So that's been good to see.
We're not talking about him a whole lot because we just kind of take him for granted and it's a given. But can you assess Matt Corral right now versus where he was last year at this time?
I think a big difference. I don't want to, rat poison him, but he's done a great job from a leadership standpoint, from an offensive standpoint, and the guy's accuracy is, was was almost, I think I said, insane today. Some of the throws that were made, and it was at one point like a video game where you just, there's not inaccurate throws. He just throws it to the guy because you hit the button. So good to see. I got to continue to develop and do it on game days.
Lane, just overall, all aspects of the team, are you where you would like to be at this point in camp for a progression toward your first game?
I think in some areas, I think with the ones in general, both sides, there's some things to feel good about, close to game type ready. But both sides, there's very little depth that I would feel good about today if we were playing a game. So whether that's older guys continuing to get more experience, whether that's younger guys just getting used to it, we need guys to step up so, we don't get in a situation where, we got no rotations that we feel good about and guys are overplaying.
How far along are Jerrion and Henry in their kind of learning the slot?
They don't do everything, they just do a limited package, and both of them have a good skill set to do that. And so we feel good about their development, and I think a lot of that had to do with the spring ball and being around them more where we can, look at some things that, does not regress their learning of day one stuff of playing running back.
We had Henry Parrish in here a couple days ago, and he said, and I quote, "Everybody thinks he's weird," and that was in regards to you. I'm curious, and he said it in a funny way. I'm curious, do you consider yourself weird, and who would you say is the weirdest person on the team?
Well, I didn't know that. I'm not really sure how you say someone's weird in a funny way and it's a compliment, but who do I think is weird on it? I think Henry's weird on the team. So, but I mean that in a funny, nice way.
Lane, one of the positions that looked unsettled heading into fall camp was the tight end position. We're going to talk to Chase Rogers here in a minute. How does Chase check the boxes on what you're looking for at that position?
Well, Chase has missed part of camp and has been limited for part of it injury-wise, and so He seems to be back close to full strength now. Had a really good day today. Scored a touchdown in the red zone there. So, he's done a really good job and, really does everything pretty well.
I think I know the answer here, but do you have an update on Tavius? Haven't seen him out there for a little while.
Yeah, we expect him to be fine. He's still limited.
Just a follow-up to the tight end question. None of these guys look like Kenny Yeboah exactly. So, does that alter the way that maybe you look for production out of that position this season, or things that you would do with that position?
Well, I don't know. I think we got some very different guys. Hudson Wolf now, is the healthiest that he's been. Has done some good things the last couple of days and a very big target. So I don't know who's going to play there, and probably who plays will base off what calls that we make. I like to say on our offense that, we don't have a system that, the players have to fit into. We find the best players and develop a system into them.
Momo was talking the other day about just how bizarre the empty stadiums were last year. When you think back to last year, what kind of stands out about playing in those stadiums with lessened capacity, or I guess in the case of Vanderbilt, a completely empty game?
I think it was, for a coach, it was eerie in warm-ups, and as you got closer, then once the game starts, you have a headset on, so you don't really realize it. The players, it's probably a lot different. They realize it throughout the game. I really don't once the game's going, so except for not worrying about crowd noise and atmosphere and, like going to Baton Rouge, which would usually be an issue. Other than that, I really didn't notice once the game started.